don't let it be said that we do not get you ready for your New Year's Eve base bins there on Weekend Confirmed. All right, we're back. Jeff Kanata here on my other side now. Ball back.
Good evening.
Christian Spicer.
Hello, I have a lollipop in my mouth.
And, is that what you're going to call that? And then two Jeffs, Jeff Mattis on the other end of the table.
Yeah, that's me.
All right, so you guys were in the booth listening. We were talking a lot about Game of the Year stuff. We're doing like your 3 games. I know Jeff Kanata was probably chomping at the bit. Jeff,
I was.
You had one you were like dying to talk about, which was...
Well, I agreed with a lot of what was said about XCOM.
Okay.
Which I think is probably my Game of the Year.
Really?
Probably.
Okay.
Here's one that I bet no one else will bring up, but I can't not bring it up.
Okay.
Because for me, it is in the discussion. It's probably my top 3. Diablo 3.
I would say it's a safe bet, actually. That's not going to probably come up in a lot of our discussions. Okay, so how does it not... does it not get avoided by you?
It is because of the pure amount of time and fun I got out of it.
So the Borderlands...
Put in and got out.
My Borderlands 2 argument.
Indeed. It delivered on a pure, wonderful gameplay loop that I found to be absolutely addictive and did not want to stop. And there's nothing about that game I didn't like. As much as people dog it now for the auction house and all the stuff about it.
But no, I mean,
I would have
liked the end game though. I mean, you loved the game, but remember you getting frustrated with now. Why are you playing? I'm not saying it shouldn't be a top contender, but I think to say there's nothing.
After 100 hours into it,
which is great. That's a great game.
I did at a certain point go, well, I guess I'm done with this. But I didn't want to be done with it.
That's a testament to how good it is that you were like, well, shit.
Exactly.
Now, did you play the Torchlight 2s, and how did
I
you...
did.
How would you...
That's the question, right?
How would you
See, Torchlight 2 is an excellent game as well, and excellent in interestingly different ways. And but I didn't find... The thing that Diablo 3 brings to the equation that I found so wonderful in relation to Diablo 2 and the Torchlights is the way the skill system worked to allow for myriad different builds that were all feasible.
Okay.
And that creativity and that the allowance for different takes on how to build your character, and there wasn't just the one best way to do it. That it was really about gameplay style. It was about fun, different variations on a theme that I think changed the way I played those kinds of games and made it so much more fun. Every time I got a new skill, it was fun experimenting with that skill. And then at endgame, when all the skills are already open, there were multiple builds that would be useful in different situations. And the fact that you could swap in and swap out of them at any time made for a whole lot of fun that usually those games don't have.
So from a player's standpoint who's been into action RPGs for a long time, you liked the way they elected to go with the skill system and the tree system, despite the fact that some people would say that it was too simplified and it was like too much like, oh, well, I can just plug stuff in, I don't have to make choices.
Yeah, I think for those people...
As opposed to a Torchlight, because Torchlight makes you make a lot of choices.
And those choices are really meaty and interesting, and I found myself, every time I leveled up in Torchlight 2, I would sit there and go, ooh, where do I... There were so many places to put points in that skill system. But
that diversity gives you so much to play with.
Indeed, but I found the fact that I could swap in and swap out of the skill sets in Diablo to be so much more interesting because it allowed for it's more of a palette, and I can paint however I choose rather than committing to a certain play style and going deep down that rabbit hole. Mm-hmm. It was more of a sandbox. It was more of a creative experience, and that's what I'm always drawn to with games.
Christian Spicer, you were sitting in the booth as well. What was one of the ones you didn't hear? You're like, what are you guys? You're not thinking about this one.
Well, it got mentioned, but I don't think as Mark of the Ninja.
All right.
In terms, it was a great year for downloadable games, and so that came up because there were so many great downloadable games. And Mark of the Ninja, I think.
What stuck with you about Mark of the Ninja?
The reinvigoration of stealth. Where I feel like a lot of people had felt stealth gameplay was kind of over and kind of tried, and Splinter Cell's trying to reinvent itself and do different stealth, and here was a 2D stealth game? Like, that's not gonna... I'm gonna feel like a ninja? It hit so many of the right notes where it was challenging, but it made sense, it controlled well, it was engaging, and, I mean, for me, it came out of nowhere. Like, I know it had some press, but I was like, okay, and then it came out and played it, and it's beautiful. I mean, that team, I think, put together every piece that they had learned from every other game before it and just nailed it while doing something new. I know that's fake as anything, but if you haven't played it, check it out. I mean, I think it's current. Well, it won't be anymore, but it went on sale often, and if you can find it, full price is worth paying. If you find it on sale, impulse buy it. Just buy it.
I mean, we've talked about it before, but certainly one of the big statements that comes out of 2012 is the rise to acceptance of the indie game experience, which allows games such just not good. It's like a bunch of amateur people at a local playhouse.
So you're talking about SBU?
No. Well, I don't know. The ones that we were watching, I mean, and they were like mostly like, oh my god.